Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, wherever you're going. Welcome back to the Dierks and Denver Podcast. As always, I'm Dierks here with my beautiful best friend and co host, Denver. Today, we got a chock full episode. We're talking WandaVision, a little bit of NBA All Star action, everybody's favorite, the best of Twitter. Denver has a couple of raves this week. He's not going to be yelling at the microphone, which is wonderful. And who knows what else we got today. It's going to be fun. We're here. It's Saturday, March 6th. And before we get into it, I got to know, Denver, how are we today?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a pretty busy week for me. We're looking at moving to a different house. I just ordered my first PC yesterday. I'm super pumped about that. One of my raves this week will be about wrestling. There's a pay-per-view tomorrow. WandaVision happened. That was insane. The week ended good for me, making me in a much happier mood right now. So I'm doing good. Plus the sun's out and it's nice and there's no crappy snow. It's awesome.
Some things you just love to see. There's no other way to put it. And we're going to just jump right in. We've both mentioned it already. WandaVision, Episode 9, the finale of that limited series, happened. It dropped yesterday. And wow, it's only been 2 weeks since we talked last about WandaVision, but it feels like forever because so much stuff was packed into episodes 8 and 9. I'm going to let you start it off. Let's just get right into it.
All right, well let's just go in order. Let's go with episode 8. So at the end of episode 7, Agatha reveals herself to be Agatha Harkness, the witch. And then in episode 8, kind of get a little backstory on her with how she killed her entire troop of other witches because she's so powerful or evil or whatever. And then you kind of get this how did we get here scene episode. It's we finally understand the sitcom references and what those mean to Wanda. You get to see a little backstory between her and Vision and her and being an Hydra and her interacting with the Mind Stone. And you also see the little glimpse in when the Mind Stone explodes and it's all yellow. You see a little glimpse of her as a Scarlet Witch, which is pretty cool. I thought episode 8 was it's a hard to say filler episode because I kind of thought that's what it was.
I know what you mean.
I understand the references and why it was there. But to end, to me the only thing that mattered besides kind of the little winks and nudges of Agatha and the sitcoms and why she went to Westview was the ending of the episode when they have the Stark bomb thing powered with Wanda's Scarlet Witch, the Chaos Magic. And they shoot it to what is referred to White Vision. Just a little rundown on who White Vision is. White Vision, 1989 West Coast Avengers comics. Again, I'm also going to preference this. I did not know this. I'm not an encyclopedia, but I did my research here for this. 1989 West Coast Avengers comics. What happens is the government actually takes Vision and tears him apart, just like we saw in episode 8. But Hank Pym, from what we would know as Ant-Man and the Wasp, puts him back together. But they can't get him with his emotions. He's emotionless now, and in the comics, that's what causes Wanda and Vision to split, is because Vision's not really Vision. He's referred to as White Vision, just essentially what he was supposed to be. So that was the big reveal in episode 8. What was your takeaways for episode 8? Anything big, or did I knock on all the bridges?
I think the biggest thing for me was, like you kind of said, episode 8 was weird. You're left kind of at the end of episode 7 with this little bit of cliffhanger. Obviously, Agnes, however you want to refer to her, has captured Wanda, and Pietro has captured Monica. And you're kind of left with that little bit of cliffhanger. but you really don't. Episode 8 doesn't really iron any of that out in a way. You really only see the immediate kind of, I'm not going to say aftermath, that doesn't sound correct in terms of, because there wasn't any bad consequences really, but the whole episode is based around Agatha taking Wanda back through time to try to figure out the source of her power, right? Because Agatha wants that power. And so in a way, like you said, it's filler seems like the wrong word just because it downplays the importance of the episode, but it's a very interesting kind of just the whole eighth episode really is exposition in the middle, well, tail end of a series, which you don't get very often. And again, that goes back to the very unique and strong storytelling techniques that Marvel employs all the time. It was really great because they really caught you off guard. You expect something absolutely huge to happen in episode 8, but you don't get that then until episode 9 really. I didn't really have, again, any strong takeaways from 8 except in the grand scheme of things, that storytelling aspect was really unique.
So then we go to episode 9, and that's the big payoff, the big finale, and we get this big battle between White Vision and Vision, and we get this battle between Agatha and the Scarlet Witch or Wanda. We got to see Billy and Tommy come into play a little bit more. There's just, I felt like episode 9 had a lot going on in it. So it's hard to not sit here, and we're not a breakdown type of people where we break scenes down one by one. But big takeaways is we now have the Scarlet Witch, which is huge. I really want to see what happens with White Vision. See, I have a theory, and I'll spout out my theory when you get done talking.
Yeah, we'll save that for the tail end of this.
But like, I want to see what happens with White Vision. So disappointed. You know, what they did in this series was they winked and nudged at all these little references, and they were so strategically placed. The one I get so mad at is Evan Peters' Quicksilver. It's just some random, like, no-name actor named Ralph Boner. Like, come on now. We get to see the first, like, real existence of Monica using her powers as Photon, dodging bullets. We get to see Agatha is now, like, in a imprisonment of her own because of what she has done. I liked the little rune thing to trap her. I thought that was really clever. I did tear up a bit at the end. I'm not even gonna lie to you, when, like, she has to say goodbye to everybody, like, because she's letting go. In a sense, she's letting go. It appears she's letting go, but I don't think that's the case. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad evil FBI sword dude, I can't remember his name right now. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
I want to say it's Hawthorne. No, is that his last name? I don't remember.
What? Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad he got his comeuppance. I'm glad he's not around. I think obviously there's 3 huge takeaways in this episode. The White Vision battle, where Vision like essentially turns on White Vision's memories, which was really cool. See, in the comics, what actually happens is there are several other kind of superheroes, like Wonder Man. So, like, in the comics, Wonder Man's emotions and mindset are implanted in the Vision. Well, and when White Vision comes around, Wonder Man is like, nah, I don't want to do that again. So they have to take it from somebody else. So that's the loop around in there to get White Vision his emotions and memories back. I thought that was cool. I have a theory on what happens to him. I was so surprised to see a Skrull in this series. I was not expecting it. And I love the wink and nudge that they gave to Fury when they said, hey, he heard you were grounded down here. He wants to have a talk with you. I thought that was funny. But then the final end credit scene, the one that boom is supposed to set off everything. You get this Doctor Strange-esque feel with it, where she's projecting herself so people don't bug her, but in reality, what she's doing is studying and reading the Darkhold. Darkhold's another big thing I've glossed over, but the Darkhold, which is like a book, I don't know how to word it, that has a lot of information on the Scarlet Witch and what her powers are and what she can do. And at the end, you see her scrolling and you hear "Mom" like from Billy, and I was like, "Oh shit, oh shit, dude!" I got so excited. I was like, I thought they were done, but to hear it, and now I'm like, oh, I now understand what the Multiverse of Madness is. A lot of big things happened in this episode. No surprise cameos from anybody, which was a huge disappointment. Because they kind of teased it up, and I hate Paul Bettany for it.
I was wondering when you were going to get to this. This was hilarious to me.
Here's my fucking rant, right? Paul, all seasons, like, this actor I've wanted to work with my whole life, and we have just great chemistries, dropping all these hits and bombs, right? And everyone's like, oh, is it Magneto? Is it Ian McKellen? Is it Doctor Strange? You know, Benedict Cumberbatch? Nope, it's just himself.
It's himself in different makeup. It's lovely.
It's great. Overall, I was satisfied with the conclusion, although there was no surprises or really big like plot twists to go towards in the future. It's what Marvel is really good at is planting seeds and letting them grow and sprout into massive trees. That's what happened with the first 3 phases of Marvel or the MCU. They plant these little seeds, and then there's a big payoff. So I'm glad they planted this seed, because this won't update, like, update's the wrong word. We won't get a conclusion of this until March of next year.
Yep.
So we have to wait, but I'm truly excited. What were your takeaways? What interests you? Piqued your curiosity?
Obviously, you covered a lot there, so I'm not gonna try to double back and override anything you said. The one, you know that I'm typically not the bearer of the bad news or anything like that on here. However, the one thing that just bugged me once we got to the end, right, is I felt that among all of the kind of supporting characters, the kids, Jimmy Woo.
Yep.
And Darcy, like, you have all these kind of like very integral pieces, but the one that really stood out among them was Monica, right? And then we got that she is now discovering her powers, but she, in my mind, like, she just really wasn't involved. They built all this up, and then she had like 3 minutes of screen time in the last hour plus of the whole series. It felt a little unsatisfying in that way. That's the one thing that stood out to me that you didn't mention. Is I understand we're probably going to get more of her moving forward, and that's great. But outside of her interaction with Ralph Boner, everyone's favorite, and then her stepping in to save the kids there very briefly, like, that was pretty much it. And that felt a little unsatisfying to me. I'd be interested to see what you thought about that.
So with that, I think the 2 really big things, again, it was a seed planter because she has much more of a role with Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And I assume she's going to have a huge role, or at least a pretty decent sized role, in a character called Miss Marvel. She is like a teenager. She was just like created. It sounds weird. Created in 2014. So she's relatively new, but has made a huge impact so far. So I assume she'll be in there more. But I get the little references, winks and nods, and sword and all that stuff. I can agree with you. I was kind of disappointed, but like I know that I'm going to see more of her.
Yeah.
In Captain Marvel, and so I'm okay with that. I guess it was. I guess I'm not shocked, but as you are, or surprised. But I do wish you had just like an extra couple
Yeah,
minutes
that's what I'm
to
saying.
really fill out the exposition and for her story.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is they spent all of this energy, right? More so than any of those other. That's what I was getting at. Any of those other ancillary characters, they spent more time on her, and then it felt like she honestly was probably the least prominent of them, except maybe Darcy. You know, we saw Darcy for all of 14 seconds. It
Yeah.
felt like. So outside of Darcy as one of those characters, she felt like she had the least real importance here in the last two episodes. And so that part again, I wasn't. I mean, I was surprised in a way, and I understand that since all of this is intertwined, we are going to see more of her. I'm not, you know, angry about it per se. It just felt a little weird to me that I was just kind of expecting more of her character because she was the one that, you know, she sacrificed herself to go back into the hex and try to right the situation, and then she really wasn't even a major part of the conclusion.
You know, I get your frustrations there. Like if I look back on it, I can kind of like, because like really she's like the third most, like probably I wouldn't say third, I'd say like the fourth most important character, like integral to like the entire show. Because when you really get it down,
it's Wanda
Vision,
one.
Wanda, and
You probably, you know, for different reasons, you could definitely put either Vision or Agatha / Agnes at 2. They you know, at different points they're 2 and 3 in some order.
yeah,
And then Monica's 4th. Like she really is,
yeah.
right? And the 4th most important character in a 9 episode, right? So 5 hours almost worth of content. She just basically didn't exist there toward the end. It was really, really odd.
Yeah,
especially when like nothing bad
happened
happens to her, right?
Yeah, really at the end it's like she just gets like trolled by a scroll. But what I'm curious, and it was another weak nod, is like who is a scroll and who's not a scroll. One thing that is like, so you had the Infinity War saga.
Yes.
The next biggest thing is Secret Invasion, and that's a whole where scrolls kind of feel like they're alienated per se, and you have to eliminate them, and you get this whole, they do this whole thing where they transform themselves into like superheroes, like Marvel superheroes, like Wanda and Captain America, Spider-Man, and you can't tell which one is which because, you know, they're trying to disrupt what's going on. So I think that's interesting. Overall, I was pleased with the series. I think going forward, like the next 2 are Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that's more of a buddy cop. I don't think there'll be a lot of like winks and nods to WandaVision. I do believe though in Loki, there will be a little bit more winks and nods to what they're doing, just because it deals with time and space and all that crap. It overall good series. I'm not hating it. I get why people, it wasn't their cup of tea because it was different. But if you can sit down, Kevin Feige, you said 5 hours. Kevin Feige said all of these series will be 6 hours long, either 9 episodes at about a half hour, 45 minutes, or 6 episodes at an hour. So Falcon and Winter Soldier, it'll be 6 episodes, each about an hour long.
All right.
So I thought that was good. Here's my theory. I'm gonna spout off my theory.
Before you do your theories and spin off, you know, get the tinfoil hat on. I will say, I know that this section, right? We talked about the first handful of episodes, then 6 and 7, and now this one. Easily, this one I came off on this podcast as having the most negative tone about. However, that was just because I was letting Denver do the you know, the big stuff, right? Like I said, I didn't want to step on his toes. I really, really enjoyed this series. You know, it wasn't super apparent early on. We talked about this. I'll just gloss over it again. Wasn't super apparent early on where it was going, but once it got on track, it was really, really entertaining. It really sets things up, as Denver's probably going to get into with his tinfoil hat theories here. What's coming next? It was very easy to watch, after those first two kind of setup episodes, and so I don't want it to be misconstrued that I did not like the series. I absolutely did, and if you're a Marvel fan, I think even if you're like a fringe Marvel fan, you have to like gut it out and watch this, even if you didn't think after the first couple it was your cup of tea. It's really, this was really important, is to start off the next phase on a good note, and with a quality sort of something, whether it was a feature film or a series like this, and I think that they did a great job.
Okay, so my tinfoil hat theory, here it is. So at the end of the episode, you get this little, she's like reading the Darkhold, and she hears someone scream "Mom." Here's what I think is gonna happen. She's gonna go through. Oh, and I glossed over this. They did name drop Doctor Strange as Sorcerer Supreme, because that's what his name is. He's a Sorcerer Supreme, and they did make it very clear that the Scarlet Witch is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme himself. So, I assume what is going to happen is she is going to go through all of these different multiverses looking for her kids. She is going to cause lots of mayhem because, when you go to a different universe, you can't screw anything up, or it screws up the entire timeline, right? So she's going through all these things, and then Doctor Strange is like, wait a minute, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme, I can stop her, and he doesn't know that the Scarlet Witch is a thing, and she and him duke it out. I assume they duke it out. They find the kids. I still believe Mephisto's in this. I'm still gung-ho that Mephisto is going to end up being the real villain, because the children are pieces of Mephisto himself. Okay. And I think what happens is they get there and they're like, I'm not sure what to do. So they go get Agatha, because she says, I'll come get you if I need you, type of thing. Agatha is her, and they have like it's like Tom and Jerry. Like, they fight all the time, but they're still friends. Like, that's how it is in the comics. So they go get Agatha, but it all ends when White Vision appears, because White Vision disappears. Once he gets his memory, he's like, I have to go. And he just goes, and you don't see him the rest of the episode. So I think he comes back and he's like, Wanda. And then she's like, Vision, and he knows who he is and his memories, because this Vision turned him on for him. And she's like, gets her family back. That's what she wants. She uses her powers for good, but I think in this one she's a primary villain, looking for her kids. Marvel's really good at making their villains have a justifiable reason for everything they do.
That's true.
Like Thanos. Thanos, he's a villain, but you can kind of see what in
a really twisted way. You like are kind of conned into believing in what he's saying, right?
Exactly.
In a really, yeah.
So I think the same thing happens with Wanda. I think she goes full Scarlet Witch from this point on, by the way. I don't think we hear her name often unless it's from like Vision, or maybe like right away, like Wanda, and she's like, no, I'm the Scarlet Witch. Like, I'm the most powerful being. And I'm glad they made that very clear.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one of the things, is she can do whatever she wants. You don't mess with this chick. So that's my theory. I think she goes through all of these universes, and she starts setting up these big things in later movies that will come back to haunt Doctor Strange and Vision and Wanda and whomever, because she does not, like Agatha said, she does not know her true power. Like, even though she's starting with the Darkhold, right? She really doesn't know what she can do. She's reading it, but until she does it, she won't know. Like, in the episode, they come at, like, all of the people from Westview come at her, and then she just freaks out and then chokes them all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm on this boat that it's Mephisto, but the movie is going to make you think that the Scarlet Witch is the bad guy. She's the one who's going to destroy everything. Ultimately, that's my theory for this. I think this is where it goes, leads to like multiverse, like true multiverse stuff from this point forward. And it sets up Scarlet Witch and at least Doctor Strange as the next two core components in their Avengers team, whatever that looks like. I don't see them going on without those two as like the main focal points because they are so powerful together. So that's my theory. That's what I'm thinking. And I think I'm pretty accurate on she's going to go through all these multiverses to try to find her kid. Because she's like,
sense,
she
right?
her mom.
It would make sense.
So that's my batshit theory on what's going on going forward. But I don't know if you have one or not, but that's definitely what I'm thinking is going on.
I mean, we've talked about it already, right? I'm the one of the two of us that kind of, I'm a really big fan, but I take these things as they come. One thing I do want to say, though, that it never really had, it's not even something that I had thought about because it just, we used the terms Wanda and Scarlet Witch kind of interchangeably, or at least I have, right? When really that was incorrect up until the last episode of this, right? Like we knew from the time that she appeared in Age of Ultron in whatever year that was, 2014 maybe. That's just kind of a guess.
Yep.
That it's like, oh yeah, she's Wanda Maximoff. She's a Scarlet Witch. But that there's an asterisk there that really we didn't. I mean, you and I in casual conversation have also referred to her as the Scarlet Witch, and it just is what it is. But really, she was, right, because it's always been within her. But she doesn't think of herself, and nobody else really recognizes her as that necessarily until now. And so that part, we glossed over that, and I totally spaced on it when I was talking. But that, I think, is actually really important, right? Is I think a lot of people could fall into that category that we did, where, again, we used those terms interchangeably throughout the last 5 to 7 years. And no, she's just now really fulfilling the role of Scarlet Witch. I don't know, kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah, and with that, I'm going to tell you to any viewers who are watching or listening, if you haven't checked out the series, please go check it out. It's long term going to be kind of crucial to what goes on forward. Kevin Feige said that every show has a purpose to a movie moving forward, so it's kind of critical in a sense. You go watch it, but no rush, no hurry. Make sure you get it in there. Overall, very enjoyable series. I can't wait to start talking Captain. I assume we're gonna do Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I'd love to. I'm a big fan of like the Winter Soldier. Like, I am pretty much all in on the fact that Captain America and the Winter Soldier is the best non-Avengers movie in the series. I think that movie is excellent. And feel free to disagree, but like, so I'd love to see both Falcon and the Winter Soldier get a little more shine, which they're gonna get right here. They're gonna get their opportunity. You can't deny that they're gonna be the focal points of it, right? They named the damn thing after them, so I hope they do it justice.
Yeah, I do too. So with that, we'll move on to our next segment. But go check it out if you haven't. It's awesome. We enjoyed it. I think you will too.
Absolutely. That was a great conversation. And if anyone's watching this, or listening after the fact, which we hope you are, go onto our YouTube or hit us up on Twitter and talk with us about this. We'd love to. Like, we will talk about this crap all day, right? We'll for sure respond to any comments on YouTube. If you hit us up in the Twitter DMs or just straight up add us on Twitter, we'll respond. I hope relatively quickly, kind of thing. We just want to talk, right? It's a good time.
Yeah, just community, man.
Alrighty, folks. We are moving on. No more WandaVision, but we'll get back to the Marvel stuff because it's 2 weeks is all before.
Nope, 2 weeks.
Before episode 1. Cool. We have something to look forward to in the content cycle, baby. All right, let's go. New subject: NBA All-Star Weekend. Denver, you're the NBA guy.
Yeah.
We're throwing it up on the screen. The rosters that, I will say, I have to just come out and say it. Maybe you just agreed with me because we were, not the clearest of mind at the time, but we thought that it was just going to go back to the East-West format, and then all of a sudden, a couple days after the who was all announced as, eligible for the All-Star game, they announced, we're doing the draft thing again. So we look like complete idiots back in that first All-Star announcement episode. However, the teams have been drafted. There's a lot of injury exemptions on one side. Very interesting. Let's see it. Let's hear it. Just you take it from here.
I'd be shocked if Team LeBron doesn't win. That's my first stance. Team LeBron looks insanely good. I was surprised that they replaced Devin Booker with Mike Conley today. I think that was the biggest shock to the system. Maybe it was yesterday, but that's a huge thing. Honestly, I think it's going to be a fun game. I think Team LeBron wins. I don't know if it's so handedly because they're,
the All-Star game is always just close because it's just a glorified pickup game, right?
Well, yeah, but now they have stakes in it. Now you get something if you win. It's not just for fun anymore. You get a bonus if you win. You get money now. Everybody likes money. But I think it'll just be fun. I won't be watching it. It kind of sucks. I have something else I'm watching. I'll talk about it later. But I do expect Team LeBron to win. Team Durant is cool. I think all of the nods to Zach LaVine. I'm glad he's in there. I'm glad Mike Conley's in there. A couple different names Domantas Sabonis is in there. He's been playing lights out this year. I'm glad the Jazz got nodded with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, even though they were the last two drafted. And that's
we'll
kind of
talk about that in a
Julius
second.
Randle.
I'm gonna ask you about that in a second.
Julius Randle, I'm glad he got the nod because he's really carrying that Knicks team right now to a winning record.
They're fifth in the East or something. We'll get to that too.
Yeah, it's insane. So it's cool that there's a lot of different names this year, or a lot of big names still. Enjoy what we can because I assume this will be one of LeBron's last. I assume in the next couple of years he'll finally be done. But yeah, that's my choice on this game. I don't know if you have it pulled up or not, but
we'll get there.
Actual 3-point contest and stuff. So, all right, you go.
Give me some credit, man. Come on. Yeah, I agree with you that in name value alone, it's crazy that one thing I will say, I think Durant did a pretty good job of drafting, but it got out of hand a little bit. LeBron he's a veteran at this by now, right? He's drafted each of the last however many All-Star teams. And he got away with highway robbery with the starting lineup in terms of name value, I would say. But it's just gonna be it's fun if you're into that sort of thing. I haven't watched an NBA All-Star game in a few years now, just because, quite frankly, it's not at the point in the season where I care to watch NBA ball yet. This is March, man. You know what happens in March. We'll get to that more too. I love it. But it's good entertainment if you're a really big NBA fan. I won't deny that. I've watched it several times in the past. It is what it is. But we'll move on, right? However, before we do that, I totally lost myself already. I am really glad, as you are, that Mike Conley is finally an All-Star, because I truly believe I'm in the camp that this is kind of ridiculous that it took him 14 years to get a nod. He was one of the handful of best true point guards in the NBA when he was in Memphis there for a stretch, and he never made an All-Star team, and that I just think that bothered some people. Obviously, it didn't, keep me awake at night, but he deserves this, right? There's no way he could go through a career that he's had and like never make an all-star team. I think that would have been ridiculous. So I'm glad he got the nod to replace an injured Devin Booker. That is fun. We've now heard it. Denver mentioned it. The drama that in the actual draft, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert were the final two picks, even though they are on the best team record-wise in the NBA so far, is very interesting. LeBron gave the answer that, to paraphrase if you haven't heard it, no one plays with the Utah Jazz when you play 2K. No one ever has, even dating back to the Stockton Malone days. So why would they get picked? I think that is a total cop-out. That's just my thoughts on the whole thing. I think just at the moment, it's bad timing because this draft took place right after, I think, Donovan Mitchell's comments after a loss to Philadelphia about the refs screwing the Jazz this last week. So that just landed poorly in my opinion, but I'd be interested to hear what our resident NBA expert has to say on it.
Here's what I think it is. I think it is LeBron and Kevin Durant saying, hey, you might be the best right now, but you're not the best around. Like, we are the dominant.
You got to prove it first, kind of thing.
Yeah. You meet us, say, in the Western Conference Finals. LeBron saying, meet us in the Western Conference Finals. And if you can hang with us, then I'll give you where your credit's due. But right now, we're in a kind of a shitty situation with the pandemic. You're winning without fans, even though Utah is an incredibly hard place to win games. Like, people don't realize that. Utah is actually really hard to win games at. So, I think it's more of a wink and nudge, like, hey, you guys say you're the top dogs. We're going to treat you like the bottom of the barrel right now. Meet me in the playoffs, and we'll talk again, kind of thing. I also just think it's how do I say this? I think it's petty on, like, Durant's part per se, that he didn't draft, like, Donovan Mitchell earlier. Because here's the thing. Donovan Mitchell's been playing lights out.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you right now, Donovan Mitchell probably would have been I probably would have drafted Donovan Mitchell before I drafted Jason Tatum this year. Jason Tatum's really good, but Donovan Mitchell's been playing insane and carrying that team to a great record. So that's just my view. I think it's more wink and nudge stuff. So we'll see how it plays out.
That truly is your favorite phrase today, isn't it? That wink and nudge shit.
Wink and nudge, man. I think I heard it somewhere today, and I just been saying it all day.
Just been spouting it. All right, as Denver wanted to get to earlier, he didn't give me my credit. Well, here it is, boy. We got all of them.
Oh.
We'll start out with the skills challenge. Has anyone ever even watched this?
I don't know.
Like, that's not an indictment on any of these 6 men. These 6 men are 6 of the most talented basketball players on planet Earth. It's just like it does not have anywhere close to the amount of glamour as the 3-point contest or the dunk contest, or even the Rising Stars game for that matter. I think I've literally watched this one time, and that wasn't like the whole thing. It was literally just watching like 1 or 2 guys to see what it was about. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. Next channel.
Yeah, I am not a fan of the skills challenge personally. Like, okay, I get it. The point of it is to see who the most skilled player is. But, like, how do you compare? Like, how does Julius Randle get into this with Chris Paul, one of the greatest point guards to ever play? Like, does it make sense at all? If I'm just gonna pick a winner because I don't want to rant on this too long, I think Chris Paul wins.
I think so
but
too.
I could easily see like a big shock in like Domantas Sabonis winning.
Well, I think because the only thing I know is I think the one year I watched it, Sabonis was in it like a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, he's been in a couple years.
And he like got second place because he like missed the 3 at the end. and whoever he was
Which is
against
weird.
hit like a crazy shot. Yeah, just a weird format. We won't get into that. So like, the thing about this is I don't think it is really a good showcase of the most skills or the most well-rounded player in the NBA. It's just a weird format to me. We're on agreement with the Chris Paul thing, but it literally could be any one of the 6, and I would not be shocked. Straight up. Bang.
What a weak dunk contest.
Thank you for saying it so I didn't have to.
Yeah, this is bad. This looks bad on the NBA.
For anyone who hasn't heard it, right? The dunk contest is only 3 men this year instead of the usual, is it 6 or 8?
6.
And then the 3 dunkers are Anthony Simons, who is a very young guard for Portland, who I didn't even know could dunk. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, right? But, it's like, what? This man is... I've never seen him dunk in a game, and admittedly I don't watch many Portland Trailblazer basketball games, but... And then we got Cassius Stanley, who... I love you.
I don't know who he is.
What?
I don't even know who that is.
Denver's the resident NBA basketball expert here, and he doesn't know who he is. Quite frankly, I do not mean to insult. I can't believe Cassius Stanley is on an active NBA roster. I think I would have thought he was in the G League, straight up. And then the last one, and perhaps the only person I could have ever guessed out of these 3 that would actually make a dunk contest is Obi Toppin. However, I love Obi. If anyone talked to me last year during the college basketball season that was unfortunately cut short due to COVID, right? I was a freaking huge fan of Obi Toppin and his Dayton Flyer basketball team. I thought they were going to go deep into March, and no bullshit, I went onto their basketball schedule and put every one of their televised games in my calendar so that if I was available, I could watch it. No bullshit. So I'm a big fan. However, he's a freaking great in-game dunker. This is not in-game dunking. This is really weird. Like, you have to be a show-off type dunking. And I just don't even know if this is like a style of stuff that fits him. Again, this might be the first time I wouldn't even want to watch the dunk contest.
Oh, man. It's... Okay. They need to restructure the dunk contest to make it, like, where I don't have to, like, hear that Cassius Stanley... If Cassius Stanley was doing crazy dunks in-game, I would say okay. If Anthony Simons was doing crazy dunks in games, I would say okay. And then if Obi Toppin was doing just the most ridiculous things, I would be like, okay. I'm not like that with any of these guys.
Obi Toppin is a great in-game dunker. Shut the fuck up.
Okay. Sorry to trigger some Obi Toppin love feelings. Like, I feel like I opened up a can of worms by saying that. Like, no, it's weird. I don't like that there's 3 people. It feels so short. I get that it's during the halftime show, which
is this going to be really literally one round of like 2 or 3 dunks each, and that's it?
I think the halftime show's like 30 minutes this year.
Well, shit. I'm going to go back and pick Team Durant then, dude. There's chaos, absolute chaos. The dudes are going to cramp up at halftime. They're going to be in there for 40 minutes.
Like, I don't... Like, how many rounds? Like, yeah, it only has to be like 1 or 2 dunks. Like, and
because isn't the 3-point contest at halftime too? Like, they got to fit in both.
It is. That's why I'm like, it's gonna be like 30 minutes long.
I'm totally content to just move on from this if you are.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use my platform for this year's dunk contest to say that Aaron Gordon has been robbed twice. Bang! I said it. Three-point contest could be good, though.
This is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, so this is before the game.
Oh, it's before the game.
Which is
Interesting.
weird because there's several people in this game that are in the 3-point shooting contest. All of these guys.
Every
Like
single
what?
is Jalen Brown's an all-star too?
Yep.
All right, cool. Then yes, all six of
Pretty
them.
sure, yeah. My pick to win this is Steph Curry. Why would you not pick Steph Curry?
Right.
Like,
I get that the 3-point contest is about as volatile as long as you're putting NBA players in it as the skills challenge, but I'm going to pick the best shooter on earth.
yeah.
And just if he loses on a day, he loses on a day, right? But he's the best shooter in the history of the world. So it'd be a little bit rude and kind of dumb to not pick him. But low key in a format like this, I could definitely see Levine taking it as well.
Oh, really? Wow.
I think he's a very streaky shooter. And so if he gets hot, like he'll freaking rip the net off the rim kind of thing.
Oh, damn. Well, we'll find. I mean, I won't find out. I'll be doing something else.
Yeah,
but...
right. Well,
I'm not watching the All-Star game this year.
Yeah, All right, and the last thing, the one thing I don't even know, is this game even happening? Like I've
No.
seen like they announced the rosters, but like there's not even a game, is there?
No, it's like I think it's just like
An
Top
honor
Shot.
type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Top Shot announced like the Rising Stars and everything. You know, looking at it, like looking at the Rising Stars game, the NBA is in pretty decent hands. Like because like I always see this. I've been seeing this a lot recently on my Twitter, where it's like KD's like 32 and LeBron's 36 and Russell is 32. So like it's coming, in the next couple years, like a lot of retirements are gonna happen, and so like to see Ja Morant and Tyler Hero, Anthony Edwards has been playing really good. Rory Hachimura, I can't ever say his first name, is good. Dort's fun to watch if you've never watched him play. One guy who's way exceeding my expectations is LaMelo Ball. Like LaMelo's playing stupid good. Like if you go look at his stats, Dirks, he's actually playing really well. Like they're gonna be there, but it's an honorary thing. It's cool. That's all I really have to say about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw this up here in case anyone was super interested in it. And then this has nothing to do really with All-Star Weekend, but this would be a great opportunity to just react to kind of where we are at this point in the season. Obviously, we talked about the Jazz not too long ago. They've been on a little bit of a cold stretch. We'll see if they can get that ship righted. I think the craziest thing to me is if you'd have told me at the beginning of the year that the Lakers wouldn't be in the top 2 in the West at the All-Star break, I'd have been like, so the Clippers and the Nuggets? Maybe? And it's the Jazz and the Suns. That's just wild.
I'll tell you right now, the Suns are way overperforming, but like you saw it in the bubble last year. I don't know what happened, but ever since the bubble started, even without Chris Paul, the Phoenix Suns were playing lights out.
They're on a heater.
And now they are on a heater. But you have to take that with a grain of salt, because like the Lakers would probably be the second best team right now if AD wasn't hurt. See, the Lakers have this mentality now moving forward where it's like, look, we want you healthy when it matters. Like, we'd show our dominance, if we can, but if you're even remotely banged up a little bit, you're sitting out. And that's what's going on with the Lakers. The Clippers are the Clippers. I don't really have anything to say about them, because it's either they're playing lights out or they're not playing at all. Again, that's what it is with the Clippers. Same thing as last year. Either they're playing as hard as they can against whomever they're playing, or they're playing lackadaisical and they don't do anything. Trailblazers are where I expect them to be. I thought the Nuggets would be probably like the 4th seed, to be honest. I'm happy to see the Spurs. Spurs are kind of a surprise. But, like, the West is still up in the air, especially with how NBA playoffs now do, like, the 8th and 9th seed game, Like,
Well, isn't it 8, 9, and 7, 10?
no,
I think both the last 2 seeds are the ones up for grabs.
is it?
I think
Okay.
so.
As the NBA expert, I should know this, but I don't.
Jesus.
I know I'm the worst. But, like, there's still a lot of season left to go. It's weird to look at the Jazz being 27-9. Like, that's a really crazy record for them.
On the other end of things,
24-11.
like, this is not me trying to throw shade. I'm really surprised the Rockets are as bad as they are. Now, did I think they were going to be a playoff team? Probably not. But, like, they're bad.
They've lost like 11 straight without Christian Wood.
Oh, is he hurt? Is that why they're...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
That makes more sense. But, like, I saw that the other day. I'm like, they're losing the... How? Like, their team's not that bad. I don't think they're, bottom 5 in the league bad if they're healthy. But,
I mean,
it is what it is. On the other side of the world, in the East, dude, the little bit of stuff I've seen, like, low-key, the 76ers look like they could be a little bit different than the recent 76er teams. Like, this team is, like, really good, but not in, like, a way that I think they're only going to be regular season good and then collapse in the playoffs. Obviously, that's yet to be seen. But this team, like, they're a legit number 1 at the moment. Obviously, you got Brooklyn and Milwaukee close behind. But, I mean, the 76ers are pretty decent. And if the season ended right now, Embiid has to be MVP, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been playing crazy. It's so weird because, like, Embiid came in with so much hype, and not saying he hasn't played, like, well or like good even. He just hasn't hit his stride yet. And you get like Shaq. Shaq's been taking a lot of heat about how he's been criticizing talent. But, like, I think Joel listened to him and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go work in. I have all this time. I had a lot of time last year with the pandemic, and I had a few months here to start up. Here's what I'm thinking, man. I think the 76ers make the finals. And I only say that because why they look so different is because they play defense. Their defense is tough, man. They have a great defense, and I think they can lock up the Nets. Like, they're lengthy, they're big. Like, Ben Simmons could probably lock up at least James Harden, especially this year. He's been playing lights out. Like you said, the Nets and then the Bucks, kind of expected. I'm glad the Celtics are finally hitting a stride. They were playing terrible. Then you got the big bad Knicks, that's crazy to see. And then what's weird is from 6 moving down is you're 500 or below.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. The East Conference is terrible. Like, that's why I'm saying the 76ers and the Nets are, I truly believe, going to be the Eastern Conference Finals. My pick is the 76ers. I just think they've had so much time to develop that they're going to outplay the Nets on one end of the ball. So, but yeah, it's just really weird to look at this.
I think the biggest thing for me in the East isn't even these top 3 teams just kind of looking like they're a cut above at the moment. It's the fact that I feel like the Knicks and the Hornets have overperformed to a pretty considerable degree. And then these 2 teams at 10 and 11, the Pacers and the Hawks, I feel have, like, way underperformed.
Well, and that's why the Hawks fired their coach.
Especially the Pacers, though, dude. The Pacers have so much talent. Like,
The Bulls are overperforming right now too. Like even 16, 18, I don't. The Bulls are terrible to watch, man. They're so bad.
anyways, that's kind of where we are at the All-Star break. That's been a lot of NBA talk. We spent a lot of time on this. I hope y'all found that enlightening, but I do believe we are going to move on now. To the regular afternoon, or the regular Saturday/Sunday afternoon segment. It's literally just, again, it's just the staple at this point, right? Like, you cannot have the Dierks and Denver podcast without Best of Twitter. There is nothing else, right? I just think you have to go for it at this point. So we're gonna throw it right in. I got the first tweet this week. And of course, these first two tweets, it's only appropriate. They're going to be WandaVision themed because we talked about WandaVision. This at Maya L. Rajab on Twitter says, I binge watched WandaVision all day and I think I need to lie down. And then it's a brilliant edit of Spider-Man artwork that says, I'm far from okay. I just absolutely love that. That's kind of how I felt. I essentially watched 8 and 9 back to back. I watched episode 8 on Thursday evening, and then I watched episode 9 right away when I woke up on Friday morning, and I felt like I needed like another big old snoozer after that because it just knocked me on my butt.
You know, I just want to point this out. I'm so disappointed you haven't even said, "Wow, look at Vision just sitting there chilling the whole time we're talking."
I was leaving it to you to bring it up, bro. Okay, fine. If you want me to bring it up, guys, I've geeked out about this before because Denver has a mini Funko Pop collection with a whole bunch of stuff, and he whipped out the mini Vision Funko Pop just for this episode. We were saving it for the finale. He's cute. Way cuter than Denver, obviously. But there. Are you happy now?
Thank you. And I take offense to that because earlier in the show you called me beautiful. So fuck you. All right, moving on.
Moving on. Again, another WandaVision tweet. Denver's got it.
Oh, man. So it is a picture. I should preference this for audio listeners because we don't usually. This is for YouTube after. It's a picture of this like old painting with a cat head for some reason, but it says me listening to the ship of Theseus conversation, and I felt that on so many levels because I was laying there at like 2 a.m, and he's talking about the ship of Theseus, and I'm like, oh my god, this makes perfect sense. I don't know what's going on, but this adds up, you know, like the cat head on a human body. You know what? It works. It works for the context. So it made me laugh. Very informational. Like it was like a little history lesson in the middle of the episode. Do you know the ship of Theseus? Ah, yes. And I was like blown away. I thought this was funny. With the WandaVision finale.
So obviously I have to pull up all the content ahead of time to get ready for the episode. And so Denver sends me his tweets, whatever, and I pull them up, get them all ready to go so I can throw them up on the screen for the visual audience. And I literally saw this tweet and I went, huh, that's so Denver. I literally died, dude. I was like, dude, this is actually, like, I could see Denver just, like, he's, like, sitting back in his chair, right? And then this conversation comes on, and, like, it's like in video games where shit gets intense. Like, just slowly over time, you're, like, inching forward until, like, you're leaning forward and your hands are on your knees, and you're like,
You know, if I was sitting instead of laying down when I was watching this episode, I deadass.
You probably would have. That's what I'm saying. It just this tweet very well could have been sent by you, And I would have completely believed it. It just fit. Moving on. I saved this from last week to this week for no real reason, but I got to get your thoughts on it. I'm not even going to say anything right away. I want to get your immediate reaction, all right?
My question to you, right back at you, which one do you think
I
you
thought
are?
the same thing. I'm probably. Oh God.
Because I think I know who I am.
I think you're the one with the
If
shotgun. I think you're the one with the shotgun, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm probably the one with the shotgun. I'm like, you know what, fuck it. This is way easier than trying to smooth things over. Like, fucking, here's the gun. Just like,
Yeah,
fuck
I mean,
with
you're the
me
one who
type of
goes
thing.
for the throat. I'm the more contemplative one, and realistically, I mean, I got like the facial hair to match too, and like the watch, I could just stroke, and I got the watch and everything. Like, I just fit the role all too
See,
well.
if I did my hair like with all my shit in it, my hair will look like that some days. So, it's pretty fitting.
I just love this. I had to get this on the podcast somehow, and Best of Twitter was the perfect way to do it. All right, back to you, my guy. We got some all elite wrestling from the boy.
Yes.
Would you like me to play it first or
Yeah, play it first.
play it first? We go full screen for you.
Good swing and a miss, and Cody with the poke in the eyes. Now Cody on the top. Oh my God in heaven! Good God Almighty! The tables are everywhere. People are shattered. It's incredible. This crowd's going wild. Holy hell!
Yeah, so for context, I'm again a big wrestling fan. I've always been a big wrestling fan. And Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, NBA guy, has always teased wrestling because he is a huge wrestling fan as well. And so finally got the chance. They did a little thing with Cody Rhodes. And when celebrities have a wrestling match, they tend not to take what is called a big bump, which could like seriously injure you if not taken correctly. We all know wrestling is predetermined and the moves are there to protect the safety of the competitor.
Wait, wrestling's not real?
It's still real to me, damn it. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
It's like this grown-ass man at like a retro wrestling convention with like Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov, and he's like, this is the mic, he goes, "It's still real to me, damn it," and he's crying, and it's fucking hilarious. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I just want to say before you get back to it, now literally the only thing that's going to be on my mind the rest of this episode, since you said Iron Sheik, is you're just the biggest fucking jabroni. I just...
Don't make me break your back, jabroni.
Oh, I can't,
Oh my...
bro. All right,
That's
continue.
hilarious. But anyway, Shaq did it. He took this big bump through a couple of tables, and I was really surprised that he did this. That is some determination because that's a hard fall no matter what.
Especially for a big guy.
Yeah, and Shaq is huge. I also want to talk really fast. Shaq is a great professional wrestler. He's not very mobile, but like he is talented. Like he knows how to use his size well in a wrestling ring. If he wasn't a basketball player, that man would have been a WWE superstar.
Well,
I mean,
at the end of the day, I think anyone who would dispute the fact that professional wrestlers, even though it is like it's a scripted form of entertainment, but they're still athletes. Like you still have to be a very certain degree of athletic to pull some of these things off. So like, of course, with Shaq being a former professional athlete, it fits what he has to work with pretty well, I think. Sorry to interrupt.
And then this is my very last thing. He did a power bomb, and I know we don't have the viewers to really know, but I just want to say it out loud. He did a tribute to a wrestler who died at the end of last year due to a lung condition. Luke Harper or Brody Lee. Brody Lee did this when he did his power bomb, his finishing move, and Shaq did that as a tribute to his wife and kids who were in the stands for every week because his kid loves professional wrestling. So just to see that and know that his 10-year-old son is in there and that Shaq knows who his dad is and is like, I just thought that was really cool.
Classy move, Shaq. Classy move. Oh, we're going to skip that one. That one's your surprise one. All right, baby. I saved this one too. We could have done something about this in the midweek, but we've had John Rothstein tweets featured before, and we just love this. We got to get in the mood, right? Champ Week started today. The next 8 days are chock full of college basketball, determining who's going to make it to the NCAA tournament, who's not. Oh, baby, this is March.
Who's there?
This is March.
I love John Rothstein. John Rothstein is my fucking hero,
house.
dude.
That is you coming to my house at 11 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, I'm like, why are you waking me up? I'm not a morning person, even though that's late morning. Don't care. You'd bang. I'd be like, why are you here? And he's like, you'd be like, it's March, baby. You know what that means.
Oh, dude, I will not be the last time I say it this month. I guarantee it. John Rothstein is my fucking hero. That is 100% going to be the quote on the tweet I send out with this segment. No doubt. All right, Denver. This is the surprise tweet that I included just for you because it's NBA and it's drama. It just fits you. All right. Break this one down for me, man. Give him a moment to digest.
Oh my God, who said that?
This is between Larry Nance Jr. and Channing Frye.
Oh my God, okay.
So Larry Nance Jr. starts it off with a tweet. Hope everyone is having a happy Friday, except those people that keep putting me in their mock trades. Channing Frye responds with, I wouldn't trade you for 2 broken shoelaces and a booger, which prompts another response from Larry Nance Jr. I literally got traded for you and a first-round pick. And then Channing is like, oh. Bruh.
You know, my dumbass didn't even see it because where my camera placement is blocks that second reply from Larry Nance. And I was like, okay. And Larry Nance with the goddamn zinger, dude. That is hilarious. Like, I think it is a true disservice to like pro athletes to constantly hear your name in the rumor mill about being traded when you know that's probably not the case. Now, I don't know the case for Larry Nance. I don't assume he'll be traded. I did read a report today that like 5 teams have asked about him. So that could be a thing. But Channing Frye, you should know this. You should know this. You know where Channing Frye went to after this?
Nope.
Exactly. Neither do I. So there you go.
Retirement.
To the ESPN countdown desk.
And he does his podcast with Richard Jefferson.
Whoop-de-doo.
That is not nearly as good a podcast as this, folks. I'm sorry.
No.
It's just facts. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. All right. My last tweet for the week. We got Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois on College Game Day today. And this is just a classy response to a question.
Have you missed hearing your sisters be on you during the game so the fans can come? They're tough on you sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, you guys did you guys' homework. Yeah, they always tough on me. They always tough on me regardless. My sister make me pay her $5 every time I miss a free throw, so I'm in debt right now. So I gotta make up for it. But yeah, I miss seeing them. I miss hearing their voice. I miss hearing them cheer me on. I miss hearing them get on me whenever I'm not playing to my potential. But it's all love, and hopefully, when the tournaments come around, to see them play is definitely going to add some motivation for me.
I just love that. My sister makes me pay her $5 for every time I miss a free throw, and I'm in debt right now.
I loved it. He's a great player. He's awesome.
That is gonna do it for Best of Twitter, Tweets of the Week, whatever you want to call this segment. We love it. Twitter's great. If you ever want to, the audience, if you see a dope tweet, DM us. Just send it to us, right? Maybe you'll get a shout out on Best of Twitter.
Yeah, we'd love that. If any of you guys follow us and you see something that was pretty cool, DM us. Tell us what it is, and we'll give you a nice little shout out, a hello, a how you doing type of thing, and it'll be awesome.
And the firmest of handshakes, virtual handshakes. We end with the NCAA basketball tweet so that we can go right in to the newest recurring segment on the podcast. We have Rants and Raves. Denver has already told me he wants to rave about something this week, which is very off-brand for him. Usually he is the very boisterous, yelly one. And I have to be like, okay, bro, chill. But I'm excited. He's going to say some good stuff this week. At least I think so anyway.
Only if you're lucky.
Take it away, my man.
So my first rave is obviously NCAA basketball. I have found when I'm able to watch, it is one of the most enjoyable experiences I have. I spent the last decade of my life bashing college sports because I couldn't get it. But now I've spent the last couple of weeks trying to understand what these players mean to their teams. Like Taz Sherman, I love that guy. He is definitely one of my favorite college athletes right now, at least. So I'm raving because I've just found this newfound kind of passion and knowledge to follow. And as I've gotten older, I've understood the more you know, the better. And being closed-minded to something is not good in simple terms. So just having this knowledge about college basketball, what's going on, who's who, March Madness is going to be great. I'm very happy. I'm raving. I'm loving it. And I'm just genuinely excited.
I didn't prepare anything for this segment necessarily, but I just could not pass up on the opportunity to just kind of piggyback off of Denver's rave. It was kind of the best thing I've seen in the last couple of days since we last talked about NCAA basketball. I'm going to throw it back to sharing my my Twitter feed on the screen. Denver, this is insane. Just to give you a little background, this is the Horizon League tournament, right? So the Horizon League is very similar to the Summit League, the league that South Dakota State and those guys play in. It's a mid-major league where really the stakes are, if you don't win it, you're not playing any further in March. You're not getting in the tournament. It's a one-bid league. The winner gets the automatic qualification, and that's about it, right? Wright State, which is in Ohio, has been one of the top two teams in the Horizon League for the last several years. And they were playing, as you can see, the University of Milwaukee. I believe this was 2 nights ago, Thursday night, I think. And I'll just let you kind of embrace what happens here. 7 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock, second half, down by 21. And you can see the records. These teams are probably not in the same class. But we'll let you digest
to make a
this
lot
one.
of threes. I felt like they had to make at least 10. They're 6 for 20, but they just haven't gotten any scoring inside whatsoever. I mean, None whatsoever.
Now Lucas taking the ball in strong. His layup is good. Cross-court pass stolen by Lucas. Going in on Hubricks. He'll take it in and lay it in. He's got the ball pushed ahead to Lucas. Lucas drops the pass down to Thomas with a dunk. Lucas, long three ball. Thomas leans in. His layup is good. It's just a 10-point game with 2:40 to play. Trying to get away from Finke. Pulls up. Mid-range jumper is good. The three. Here's Lucas. He fires it over. Golston, three. Got it! Milwaukee has tied the game. Rebound. Golston scores. Golston takes the three. Now he moves over behind the stripe and knocks it down. Cannot even hit the backboard. And the Milwaukee Panthers, an unbelievable comeback. And they will continue on into the semifinals of the Horizon.
John Rothstein makes another surprise appearance. There we go. Perhaps the first just mega upset of March Madness. So many to come. I couldn't help but share that one with you.
I genuinely see that's why I'm loving college basketball. That right there. It's hopefully when we get our new place, where I will have a PC, I will have a TV, and I will have time to be gaming and have the games up, and it's just gonna be a blast.
You bet. So you said before NCAA basketball, that's your first thing you want to talk about. You have the floor. I have nothing else. Take it away.
So my final rave is about AEW wrestling. They have a pay-per-view. Obviously we're not paid or sponsored or anything.
There's no hashtag ad.
There's no hashtag ad.
Although we would love hashtag ads.
Yes, AEW, if you find this tonight or early tomorrow and want to hit us up.
You want to throw me the bag real quick?
Yeah, man. No, they have a pay-per-view tomorrow, and it's exciting. Having different wrestling promotions in America has really made me enjoy wrestling again. There was a period in time where it was just really not watchable for me. So to have all of these things kind of happen in a succession in a row, from the podcast we do to college basketball to being able to enjoy something that I've always loved, is great. Tomorrow there's several huge matches, and my favorite one is an exploding barbed wire death match. I made my boss watch one in Japan, and he literally cringed the entire time because it is a very violent match. It's just crazy. I'm loving it. I think right now my entertainment mind is going off between Marvel and basketball and pro wrestling, that I'm genuinely excited when I'm able to come onto the podcast and just give my 2 cents about anything that is really piquing our interest, and even given the time right now to rave about pro wrestling, even though Dierks doesn't really follow. He knows bits and pieces here and there, but it's awesome. If you have time, go check out AEW. They're very fun. They're a little bit more adult oriented than the WWE, so you'll hear a few more swear words and definitely a lot of blood. So it's awesome. It's crazy. I'm excited for it. I'm raving about it. To finish my week, I get AEW pay-per-view. To start my week next week, I get NCAA. The March Madness really begins, and I'm so excited.
Again, I said at the beginning, there's some things you just love to see. Just it's that simple. Now that's going to do it for the traditional programming we have on the podcast. So I am going to do our social media plug. I'll take it this time because Denver's been carrying the load on his back these last couple of times. You can hit us up on Twitter. You can follow us there. It is at Dierks Denver Pod. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Google Podcasts and then basically any other of the big podcast formats. You can just search for Dierks and Denver Podcast. Same thing on YouTube. If you prefer to, if you are a visual type of person and you are listening to the podcast, you can find us on YouTube. Just search for Dierks and Denver Podcast on YouTube as well. You can find all our content there. We are going to continue having a great time. We definitely encourage you guys to hit us up on our various platforms. It's a lot of fun for us to do this, and we have no intention of stopping anytime soon.
Nope.
Alrighty, folks. That's going to do it for this episode of the Dierks and Denver Podcast. Before I sign us off, Denver, do you have anything to say to the people?
Yeah. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We appreciate all the support, all the knowledge. If you like us, tell your friends to come watch us. Maybe because you guys got something in common, this could be something else you guys have in common. We love to do these. We are enjoying, as weeks go on, the content, the things that are vibing for us, as per se. It's a kid say per day these days. Oh, God, I'm drawing a blank here for some reason. Go follow us on our social medias. Dierks already plugged it. I'm plugging it again. Spotify, Twitter, YouTube, Dierks and Denver Pod. That's where you can reach us at. DM us, tweet us, comment on our YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube. The more people we can grow, the happier everybody is. We're truly invested in this, so thank you for coming out. I love you guys. All of you are awesome.
You already know how this ends. Wherever you are and wherever you're going, I'm Dierks. He's Denver. This has been the Dierks and Denver Podcast, and we're signing off. We'll see you guys next time.